Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is a video to show you how to trap enemies using the linked portal trap in Cuisine Royale. This is an interesting little trick that I found out recently and an amusing way to use the linked portal trap, which by the way only costs 25 souls to spray initially, so it's really easy to get and really easy to use. Now the linked portal trap essentially allows you to put two sprays down in different locations and then teleport between them with ease. Now in this fort I had the idea that I could put one in a wooden watchtower that would have oversight on the enemies when they were coming in, and then one further in a little building, for example, that would allow me to dash out of the way if I was getting shot at and get away from danger. So I found this little hut here, and that looked like a perfect place to put it down. I thought that I could then zip back and forth between the two, and you can see it's an instant thing. It allows you to zap between them really easily, and it also means that you can go back and forth and your teammates or squad mates can as well, so you can see they're coming and going as they please, and it's really easy for me to do the same. And the only time that will stop working is if you put another portal spray down, because that cancels out the first one and replaces it, so that then changes the way that you zap between them, and I'll show you that a bit later on because I actually used that to good effect too. Now while I was up this tower, it dawned on me that not only could you get away from danger or use it to do teleport between these two zones, but you could also use it potentially as a way to lure enemies. So I thought, I'm up here and I'm going to be shooting at baddies, and obviously there's going to be a point where they're either going to try and shoot back at me, or if I shoot at them and then disappear by getting into the portal like this, they're going to wonder where I went, and perhaps they might try and follow me, and then the results could be quite funny, especially since my two buddies are already here waiting for them with guns drawn and pointed in the right direction. This might seem a bit sneaky and devious, but it's pretty hard to set up anyway, so the fact that you'd encourage enemies to come in there is going to be tricky. However, it is a good way to zap quickly into the danger zone, deal out some damage as I did here, managed to kill someone, and then zap away again. I was getting shot at, so obviously didn't want to stay there and get killed, so dashed away, and then, hilariously, we just waited around, healed up a bit, and then my good friend Castigir decided he was going to have a look as well. Now he's got the Uber pan out, which is another tip for you. If you find the Uber pan, you can actually have it out and it will deflect quite a few rounds to stop you getting killed, which is a good little tip to use. Now he decides to have a look through the portal and see what he can see, so he goes in there and he gets shot at almost immediately, so he zaps back in. You can see he's already lost some health, and then an enemy follows him, and that enemy gets the good guns with hilarious consequences. Now downside to this is that because that is a squad member who has been downed, his mates now know where he is because they can see the heart. Now when we're in a different area and a different game, I found a small compound that had its doors open already, and I could see there was gunfire. You could hear enemies nearby shooting, so I thought I'll put another link trap down, but this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the boombox in order to lure them over. So turn some music on and put the boombox down to kind of tease them into the area in the hope that they would then come and have a look. Now rather than being a decent distance away, we actually went quite close in this one, just found a building a bit further over and put the link trap down there. You have to be careful when deploying them you don't accidentally zap back to the danger zones, as I did in that instance, but it is a good way to then trick people into coming. I also thought it would be worth putting down food, for example, or ammo, something that could bait enemies into going over and having a look. Obviously the boombox on its own is an interesting lure because it potentially makes a good sound and people might wonder what's happening. But if you also have a big pile of goodies for people to go and have a look at, if they spy that, they might rush over to see it and not really pay attention to the marking on the ground and see that there's a teleport trap there. It's not something people will be expecting. It works the same way as the grenade trap, in that that drops and kills people on a regular basis. And eventually, after a bit of waiting, along comes a person and they get gunned down too. Pretty funny. Now another game a bit later on, we used the portal trap in a different way. My friend Sir Henry Deadman was off outside the safe zone. We'd left him behind because he was running off looting. I said I'd put a portal trap down and then I'd go in further into the zone and he would just wait there and I'd zap him in so he wouldn't have to run a great distance. Then when we were there, I found that there was enemies there too, so I tried putting the food down and the boombox within the vicinity of the linked portal trap, and then made our way off back towards the bunkers at the rear, assuming that maybe this would be a good position to get an overwatch and to be able to see where the enemies were and if they were actually making their way towards the portal. So we all got in the same bunker and got ready for action, and once again I accidentally beamed myself back to the danger zone, but luckily there was nobody there. And then we just spent some time waiting and waiting. It is a bit of a patience game with this one, but it can be funny. We did wonder whether you could move through the portals when downed, not something we tried yet, but you can't throw grenades through. We did try that, so it is worth experimenting and seeing what's happening and seeing whether it could lead to something interesting. Now, nobody came through this time. There was a lot of gunfights going on, so it's not surprising nobody was tempted. However, what we did find was that there was someone in the next bunker. We saw people running inside there, a couple of them went in, so we went over while they were on the machine gun shooting at someone else to go and say hello and give them some good news about the Lord. We then went in, rushed in, killed a few people. Unfortunately, my good buddy got downed. I then went about reviving him and also discovered that you can revive while walking, which I didn't know was a thing, and that's pretty useful to know. Unfortunately, as soon as he got revived, he then got knocked down again and killed. Now I'm in a bunker where I know an enemy knows that I'm in there, so I put another link trap down. What that does is it breaks the sequence. So the original link trap now has disappeared, and the link is between the one in the first bunker and the second bunker. Therefore I can beam out of that first bunker and away from the enemy that knows I'm there to relative safety, and I've managed to reacquire my buddy's heart so I can go and save him, and luckily for me there's a fire pit just up the hill. So this shows you a number of different ways that you can use the link trap with pretty hilarious consequences. There are also a number of other things you could try. One thing we thought about, for example, was using it as a bait system, but putting the initial link trap right at the beginning of the game so that an enemy that gets to it and is beamed somewhere will disappear right out into the blue, and then we'll be lost and won't be able to get back in and we'll end up dying. You won't get the kill for that, but it will be hilarious. Maybe this gives you some ideas for playing around with. Hope you found this video useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or thoughts. Thanks for watching. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Hope you found this video useful, interesting or hilarious. Be sure to subscribe and check out these other videos, as well as taking a look in the description for links and other information you might find useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or anything you'd like to see extra about this, and have a great life.